So you've decided that you want a personal space for your photography. You're tired of social media and you want to create your own website. Perhaps you don't know where to start, or you're overwhelmed with all that you need to do to get your website up and running. And also, you may be lacking creative inspiration to know how to get a look and feel for your own personal space on the web. Well, don't worry, because in this video, I'm sharing incredible photography websites that will not only inspire you, but they'll show you the benefits of having a personal space for your photography portfolio. Okay, so first things first, why build a photography website? Well, as you'll have seen in the world of social media, things can change quickly. We'll take the US TikTok ban. Is it banned? Isn't it banned? Who knows? But things can turn very quickly and you won't be able to share content in a way that you used to, depending on the changes of social media or government demands. Whereas with a photography website, you're in total control. You get to decide what kind of work you choose, in what way you present it in terms of cropping and formats, and you don't have to always bow down to the ever-changing algorithms that we see from the likes of TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and all the others. I understand building a photography website may feel a little bit overwhelming. Maybe you don't have any coding experience and you just don't know where to start. Well, thankfully, you can build a photography website very quickly and very easily without being someone who knows how to code. Now, personally, I've been using Format for the past, I think, 5 or 6 years now. And I love it because I was able to set up a website in the space of a few hours. I think it had 3 lattes, and by the time I'd finished my last one, my site was live. I don't need any coding experience. It's got a lot of beautiful photography templates that just give more power to my images. And the best part is it's got tools that can help me scale my photography business. I can do that through selling prints or by blogging and doing SEO and getting more eyes on my work directly through my website. If you are looking for a space to build a website, I will leave a link to Format down below so you can get started. There is a 14-day free trial, so you don't just have to take my word for it. You can try it for yourself and get stuck in. But for inspiration, let's start looking at some of the photographers that I personally love, who I've personally interviewed and who I have a professional relationship with, that have done such an excellent job of designing their own website, and they're going to give you ideas of what you can do with yours. Let's get into that lineup. Okay, so first up, we've got Amy Lombard, and I interviewed Amy several years ago for a different publication. She's a portrait photographer, an event photographer. She's photographed celebs, and she uses flash photography as the staple of her photographic identity. She's excellent, and she's got a very strong eye for design, and this is reflected in her photography website. First of all, you'll notice immediately it doesn't look like your standard space online. She's put her own kind of feel on it with a lot of vibrant colors, little different boxes which you can peek into to sift through her galleries, and she got GIFs on there as well. GIFs, yeah, little action motion pictures that just make things stand out a little bit more than your standard fixed image. And I also like going through the different pages on her website. It's got some cool animations that just make it feel more intuitive, more interactive, and the style of font she uses is very chic, very modern day, and it's just a pleasant thing to look at, and it's easy to navigate. So I can go through different galleries, I can learn about her, I can see what her inspirations are, and fundamentally enjoy the photography that she creates. So she's really done an excellent job of getting her personal identity, her personal branding all mixed together and made this superb photography website. Okay, so up next we've got Elia Locardi. Now, I recently interviewed Elia for Them Frames. He's a world-renowned travel photographer who creates these big, larger-than-life travel photographs that are full of vibrancy, they're dynamic, and they just show that this guy really knows what he's doing with his camera. And his website is the perfect space to really give power to the images that he creates. He's on his landing page got these full bleed photographs that are just, they're awesome. You get to see his imagery in all its glory. And what's most important is he's filed his galleries in a very simple manner. When you want people to see your work, you have to make it as easy as possible for them to see the different galleries, the different places, the different styles that you're able to create with your camera. Because if they don't know how to get around your website, they're not going to know much about you, both as an artist, creative, and an individual. And what I particularly like about Locardi's website is he's got an excellent custom-made logo, and this really adds to the personal branding that he's trying to portray through his professional travel photography. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful space. Okay, up next, I've got Bryan Minear. And Bryan, I love Bryan's work. I interviewed him about a year ago on them frames, and he's got this really conceptual landscape, nature, earth photography, and it's colourful, it's warm, it's red, it's deep, it's passionate, it's everything that you want from this kind of photography. And I actually remember when I spoke to him, I asked him in the interview, how do you come up with your photography website? Because it was just such a quality site. I mean, you've got everything from full screen mode, dark and light mode, depending on how you like to view photography. And yeah, it's just, again, it's got that personal touch. It's saying, this is who I am as a creative. This is who I am as a photographer. And if anything, his photography website is an extension of the images he makes. So it's all sticking in with that term, you'll hear it a few times, personal branding. And one cool thing and great thing that he includes is a quick link form. And this is where you can access quick links to purchase prints. And this is important because if you plan on selling your photography, whether that's through physical prints or in the digital world, NFTs, you want to ensure that people can find where to purchase them as quickly as possible. So these quick links, it gives you an overview of what you're going to see. He's using his best work, so it's attractive. It makes people want to click. So keep that in mind. If you have your own photography website, have somewhere where people can quickly purchase your imagery and you can earn money. Next on this photography website inspiration is Phil Penman. Now, Phil and I, we've known each other for quite a few years. I think I first interviewed him around about 5 or 6 years ago, and we've met up a few times, we've been drinking together, and that's a different story, but he's one of my favorite street photographers. I mean, fine art street photography at its finest. He goes all over the world with his Leica camera, and he just gets the best out of a city and its people through his just beautiful, beautiful black and white imagery. And again, it goes into his website. It's very elegant. It's an elegant photography website. It feels upmarket. It feels like luxury when you're going through it. And he's got his own terminology, such as viewing rooms, which just, it gives a bit more of a personal touch to, say, just calling it Gallery 1 or Gallery 2. He's got things about him on there. He's got a great About Me page. He's got some motion picture video, which lets you see him in action. So it lets you connect to him more. It lets you get a better feel for who he is as a person and as a photographer. And his use of color is obviously black and white. It sticks with the theme of his photography. He's got this fountain pen like logo that again adds to that elegance. And yeah, check it out for yourself. It's a great photography website, and especially a good source of inspiration if you're a fine art street photographer who wants to give that luxury feel to your imagery. Okay, up next, we've got Jovana Rikalo. She is a conceptual portrait photographer who's got these beautiful creative ideas. I mean, her mind is just an absolute collection of creativity, and she brings it all together with her photography, working with models, working with animals, working with color, working with props. It's magical. She's an absolute magician behind the camera and in the editing room. And that goes into her photography website. I love that when you land on her homepage, it's just huge images that are automatically changing, and she's showcasing the best of her work first. And that's important when you build your photography website. When people arrive, you want them to see your best work first, because this is going to grip them in. This is going to hold them. This is going to ensure that they don't leave their little space on your little space on the internet and go somewhere else. So she's done a great job of putting her best work first. I love the colors. The colors throughout the website, they're warm and they have a very kind of modern day feel, and they're just comforting. It's a comforting color tone and color palette throughout her website that makes it more enjoyable to view her work. Also on her homepage is not a full About Me section, but just a bite-sized version. There's a picture of her with a paragraph just explaining who she is and what she does. And it gives the viewer just a quick overview of who they're with in that moment, who she is as a photographer. And then as you go further down, it's got her client list and there's some big names in there. So she's really selling herself on the first page of her website. And this is crucial for any photographer that's wanting to grow their photography business or just their photographic identity. Make yourself the absolute best looking possible as soon as people land, and then people can go through your pages and learn more about you, spend more time with you, and just enjoy what you're doing. This next photographer is Tiba. He's a Brazilian photographer who's located between New York City and Bali, and he's a documentary photographer who's predominantly shooting in black and white, and he's got a great talent of capturing people in their most authentic format. It's a really great, true-to-life photographer, which is exactly what you want to see from someone doing documentary work. Now, his frames are embedded into a wonderful website for his photography. I mean, it's got this powerful red that's not overwhelming. It's not everywhere, but it's just subtly placed throughout his website that just really pops in and amongst the kind of black and white aesthetic that is going throughout his portfolio. And he's got this great use of font as well. I love his font. It's very kind of tribal, rural. I don't know its exact name, but it's again in line with his identity, and that's important. You don't want things to not make sense when you're creating a photography website. It's got to kind of blend in with who you are. If you're kind of a raw, edgy, risk-taking photographer, but you've got this kind of luxurious, elegant kind of vibe, then people aren't going to connect. They're going to disconnect. So it's got to be consistent throughout. And Tiba is a wonderful example of consistency on his photography website, and it's a great source of inspiration as well. Okay, so those are the inspirations for building a photography website and how it can look. If you want to build one yourself, you have some options. Now, you can go through WordPress, but this means that you're going to either have to design it yourself or pay for someone else to design it, which can obviously come with an upfront cost. You do get more control if you power your website through WordPress, but if that's just too much time and too overwhelming, then you're best off using one of the best website builders for photographers. Now, there are several options out there. Again, for me, the best one is Format. It's built really with photographers in mind, and it's very inexpensive in comparison to a lot of the other options, and it's got all the tools you'll look for to not only make your photography look beautiful, but for you to scale your business. SmugMug is another good one. Now, there you can create public and private galleries. You've got a lot of security controls for when you're sharing images, like password protection and limiting the amount of downloads people can do. And you can sell prints as well. So the next one is 22 Slides. 22 Slides is a kind of a newcomer to the website building game, and it is built specifically for photographers. But what makes it stick out is that they offer an all-inclusive service. They can deal with the copy on your website, they can take over the design on your website, they can build it from scratch, or you can lean in on one of the photography templates and just build it yourself if you prefer to do that. Now, I've got a link down in the description below so you can see more photography websites for inspiration and some more website builders for photographers. There's also a link if you're a wedding photographer on how you can build a beautiful modern wedding photography website. That brings us to the end of the video. If you did like it, then please do subscribe and share. It really does help. But yeah, if you're thinking about moving away from traditional social media, and I think right now it's the best idea, because it really is no telling what's going to be going on. There's a lot of changes in social media land, and it's just best to have full control over how people see your images. So I would go up, sign up for one of the best website builders, use this selection of photography websites as inspiration, and just go and stamp your own identity on the photographic world and let people learn more about you and who you are as a photographer. I'm actually curious though, who are your favorite photographers' websites? Let me know down in the comments. And which website builder did you use to build your own photography website? Again, I'd love to hear in the comments. Until next time, I'm Dan. This is Them Frames. See ya.